But it's not easy to speak after Professor Viola, of course. But I would like to share some thoughts with you, thoughts from Russia and my personal ones. But first of all, I would like to express my thanks to the BRICS Policy Center and Rio municipality for arranging this beautiful and very timely seminar, which I think will be a very important event in the preparation of the Rio Plus 20 conference, which seems to be in the center of political life of Brazil and will attract the worldwide attention very soon. I would like to explain that I'm here in my capacity as the Executive Director of the BRICS Research National Committee of Russia, which was created this year under the auspices of Russian Foreign Ministry, and it shows the increasing attention of Russian government and Russian academia to the problems of BRICS. And since this section is about governance and institutional reforms, I would like to concentrate more on these issues, not on the issues of sustainable development, which seem to be the central topic of this seminar, but rather on the BRICS role in promoting of sustainable development agenda. That's my first point. The second one is role of sustainable development agenda in consolidation of BRICS and its increased its role in global governance. And third, to make some suggestions on institutional measures to increase the role of BRICS both in global governance and promoting of sustainable development agenda. I would like to stress that, to my mind, BRICS itself is a mostly political project. It's not something that something that first appeared and then was named and then was organized. It's rather a phenomenon where the name came before the real event, the real phenomenon. And if it were not for the political will of the governments, if it were not for the crisis, global crisis, which really increased the need for cooperation between these countries, we probably would have no BRICS as we have it today. It will be one of the many acronyms which exist in the world and which nobody pays much attention to. However, what we see now is an international entity or international grouping which is all about, and I would like to put it straight, about changing the world order, changing the system of global governance. Because BRICS is not about cooperation between the countries which are joined by BRICS. It's not about bilateral or even multilateral cooperation in different areas between Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. Although it's also very important, and it should and will be developed, but the final goal, I think, is presenting some kind of a common cause, common ideas on the international arena. So maybe it will take another financial and economic crisis to put this mission of BRICS on the forefront of the world agenda. And of course, some countries in the BRICS are extremely shy and extremely do not want to present this issue, this purpose as a real mission of BRICS. But speaking here as an academic, speaking here also as a Russian representative, I think this is something that should be really considered and should be taken into agenda, into consideration. So where does the sustainable development concept comes here? The sustainable development, which has been talked about a lot here in this place, was actually promoted and created in a little bit different era of the global governance structure. It was created with the strong influence of the Western powers, and it was also tailored to the needs of the Western powers, developed countries, and even in this form, it wasn't fully implemented, and you know that, and we have talked about it here, and as Professor Fatima Mel told that it was blocked, many of the initiatives which were integrated into the concept of sustainable development. I think this is not something surprising, because the essence of the modern Western civilization itself, it blocks the priority of sustainable development. It blocks the priority of equality. It blocks the priority of reasonable consumption. The civilization as we have it today is being based on the excessive consumption, and therefore for any country the growth, economic growth, seems to be the alpha and omega, the god of the both government policy and the ideals for the public. And growth is considered mostly in arithmetical terms, not in the quality of growth. On my way here on the plane, I read an article in the Times magazine about the BRICS economic growth prospects, and the whole of the article were talking about, how many percent one country has grown in the first quarter and how many percent it will grow in the second quarter. And, judging on just this arithmetics, they made some conclusions that the BRICS countries are not so well developed as it might have been expected, and that this is a fading phenomena. Well, maybe I put it a little bit strong terms, but this is how the most usual analysis goes. But I think that development is not about arithmetics. Even everybody knows that economic figures, the figure statistics are, they cannot determine everything, and they really do not describe some of the aspects of life, of the real life and quality of life the way it should. The statistic, the GNP figures, they sometimes tend to mislead rather than lead. If we look at Russia and Brazil, for example, we have much bigger GNP than in Brazil. Maybe it will take another financial and economic crisis to put this mission of BRICS on the forefront of the world agenda. And of course, some countries in the BRICS are extremely shy and extremely do not want to present this issue, this purpose as a real mission of BRICS. But, well, speaking here as an academic, speaking here also, well, as a Russian representative, I think this is something that should be really considered and should be taken into agenda, into consideration. So where does the sustainable development concept comes here? The sustainable development, which has been talked about a lot here in this place, was actually promoted and created in a little bit different era of the global governance structure. It was created with a strong influence of the Western powers, and it was also tailored to the needs of the Western powers, developed countries, and even in this form, it wasn't fully implemented, and you know that, and we have talked about it today, and as Professor Fatima Mel told that it was blocked, many of the initiatives which were integrated into the concept of sustainable development. I think this is not something surprising, because the essence of the modern Western civilization itself, it blocks the priority of sustainable development. It blocks the priority of equality. It blocks the priority of reasonable consumption. The civilization as we have it today is being based on the excessive consumption. And therefore, for any country, the growth, economic growth, seems to be the alpha and omega, the god of the both government policy and the ideals for the public. And growth is considered mostly in, arithmetical terms, not in the quality of growth. On my way here on the plane, I read an article in the Times magazine about the BRICS economic growth prospects, and the whole of the article were talking about, well, how many percent one country has grown in the first quarter and how many percent it will grow in the second quarter. And, well, judging on just this arithmetics, they made some conclusions that the BRICS countries are not so well developed as it might have been expected, and that this is a fading phenomena. Well, maybe I put it a little bit strong terms, but this is how the most usual analysis goes. But I think that development is not about arithmetics. Even everybody knows that economic figures, the figure statistics are, they cannot determine everything, and they really do not describe some of the aspects of life, of the real life and quality of life the way it should. Well, that's, well, the statistic, the GNP figures, they sometimes tend to mislead rather than lead. If we look at Russia and Brazil, for example, we have much bigger GNP than in Brazil. But the structure difference and the human needs are different. Well, simply, you don't need the heating at here and heating at winter here. You don't need warm clothes here. You don't need, for example, changing the tires on the car twice a year. So the structure of consumption and the structure of the needs is different. And you cannot just compare the two figures in dollars, which also doesn't represent the real quality of products and the real quantity of products, because the prices are different. And you cannot just make any conclusions. Well, any any meaningful conclusions on that. Of course, it's one of the instruments, but it cannot fully depend on just these figures and this concept to evaluate the growth and the prospects of the countries. The development of the last, well, maybe a quarter century or last half a century was also, I think, in some aspects were driven by the wrong engine, by the wrong goals. Chinese phenomena is, of course, the most telling one. China have experienced and shown the remarkable growth, but this growth was also performed in this paradigm of Western excessive consumption sphere. China's growth is based on the exports and on the manufacturing exports of rather cheap commodities, which changed the consumption pattern in the Western world and then worldwide. 50 years ago, you would buy one watch and it would serve you for half a century, and maybe your son will inherit it. Now you buy a Chinese watch, use it for a year, and then throw it away and buy a new one. Does this improve the satisfaction of the human needs? Does it mean some kind of a better quality of life for the people? I don't think so. But at the same time, it does mean a great harm to the environment, a great harm to the planetary prospects, and the limits of growth, which everybody know about, shows that this is not the way we should follow. So, coming to my central point, I would like to say that when the issues of sustainable development were addressed here in the city 20 years ago, we didn't have BRICS at the time. Now we have it. It's a new actor, and I think that the mission of BRICS is not just cooperating between the countries, or even promoting or acting as a bloc in financial matters, for example, in G20 and in some other international forums, defending the interests. The mission of the BRIC is to change the paradigm of development. And here comes the sustainable development, which might be the central idea, the central added value which BRICS can bring to this world. I'm talking maybe about a little bit idealistically, but I've heard here some interesting ideas about the actual failure and of the modern civilization, of the modern model of economic development, which looks outdated. And however we might like it, it just cannot be pushed forward. Well, speaking frankly, well, if we push forward, if every Chinese would have a car, 1,500,000 million people, and each Indian would have a car or two cars, like in the US, 1 billion people. So this world cannot suspend it. So this model is doomed. We should think about something else. Well, it may be unfortunate, but this is the reality, we think. And I think that's the BRICS countries who should present such a new paradigm, such a new idea, such a new theory. You can call it new capitalism or social capitalism or whatever, but it should be some kind of a development model which BRICS countries both can work out and can promote and can implement. And this is, I think, the historical missions of BRICS. and other BRICS can do it, and then the world will change, we will fail, and then the world might actually perish. And I do believe that the sustainable development should be central to this new concept. I think I'm running out of time, so I would like to mention that Russia is very much interested and should be very much interested in this kind of development. Although we have some government-adopted programs, we have the 1996 concept of transition to sustainable development. We've got the relevant 2002 strategy. We've got the ecological doctrine of 2002, but they're mostly declaratory, and they do not really implement it. And well, sustainable development, green economy are not real priorities when economic and political decisions are made. To be very frank with you, but I think that this is wrong, because Russia, by geography and by nature and by its history, it's a part of Eurasian stabilization ecosystem, and it has the ability and possibility to play a major role in the green growth and in the transforming to a new system of economic development. There are several reasons for Russia. You know that we are based mostly, our economy is based mostly on resource development and exports. But, you know, resources are final, and I think there's no such things today as renewable resources, actually. We cannot renew the quality of air. We cannot renew the quality of water which we use. So any economy based on just increasing resource uses is not sustainable, and it cannot go that far. So I believe that for Russia, turning to a new economy, green economy, actually can become a national idea. And there are reasons for that, because simply it's economically effective if we invest into modernization, into introducing new technologies that can be simply effective. If we would just invest into thermal is the isolation of buildings in Russia, that would mean great profit in just, well, maybe 10 years. There were figures that would bring about, well, maybe $20 billion just by using the proper insulation of the buildings. And it's also would increase the quality of life, and it would contribute to national security as well. Because, you know, resources are a thing which causes most of the natural resources, the most of international conflicts. Look at Sudan now. We have a full-scale international conflict just because of the resources, and almost every other conflict in the world is somehow related to the resource development. So I'm coming to my suggestion part. As I've said, that I think that the BRICS is a powerful mechanism to promote the sustainable development idea and paradigm and implement it. Second, that the sustainable development idea can be central to BRICS, can be central to the ideology of these groupings, and be the reason for its existence. And third is that we should have some mechanisms to do this. I don't think that UNDP become an agency, or as Anatony has proposed, or well, any kind of more cooperation in the framework of the United Nations mechanism will really solve this issue. I think that what is necessary is working out some kind of this paradigm together with the participation of BRICS countries' intellectuals. And what I think is would be proper to have a sort of a wise man club uniting the top intellectuals of the BRICS countries for working out this new goals of development. I don't call it a new ideology. I don't speak about new Marxism or something like that, but I think that the top intellectuals, not just specialists in just social science, but top intellectuals of the 5 countries can and should be united to work out some common understanding of how a new world might look like. And this exercise would be useful even if it wouldn't be implemented, this idea, but there should be some kind of a visionary mechanism to work out such an agenda. And also the ideas of sustainable development and BRICS role of it should be more, what I should say, promoted and popularized. Today's world is based on information technology. What you read in the papers every day is right. What you don't read in the papers every day is not right, and you don't know about that. This is how most of the intellectual life around the world is organized today. So if the papers write that Russia is not democracy, as Professor Viola said, well, it is not, although we have now these 3 demonstrations and political life very vivid and very, really, you know, much more interested than in any other Western country. Anyway, I think that this is the idea of promoting the BRICS agenda, promoting the BRICS sustainable development goals should be put as a national priority in every country. And we can do something, as if we speak about just BRICS development, green economy development, I think that BRICS countries can set up a sort of example. Simply by doing some simple things like, well, standardizing some rules, making some new standards which are related to green economy. Yesterday I was buying a toothbrush in the local shop and a pack of batteries. It just came to my mind, why on earth should I pay for this paper with printed, you know, advertising and the plastic which is wrapped on, then spend a lot of time just breaking out these plastics? I don't really need it. Cannot the BRICS countries set a sort of a standard of packaging which should be only, for example, renewable, well, from paper? This is just an example, but I think that there are some practical things that it is possible to do together, and this would just be a small step towards a new world. Thank you very much.